I had this idea last night. It's a crazy idea. Why, everybody says, hey, you know what, a public option, we don't have enough votes for it, we don't have enough votes for it. Why don't we take a vote and see what happens? I know, crazy, right? So the reason they don't want to take the vote is because they want to let the senators who are against it hide, because they don't want them on the record. Now, why are those senators against the public option when it is overwhelmingly popular throughout the country? In fact, almost twice as popular in most of the swing states as the actual health care bill itself, because they're taking money from, different health care companies to kill the public option. And so they don't want to go on the record. And what Harry Reid is doing at this point is covering their ass by not putting it to a vote.
And sadly, some of them aren't even taking money. Mm-hmm. They're just gutless, and they're afraid they'll be painted as like socialists or something for voting on it.
That might be the case. Now, a lot of the ones that we know are against it do take a lot of health insurance company money, or different sectors of the healthcare industry. Hospitals are very important. They're very against the public option, and they give a lot of money locally, too. So those are all relevant in play, but I don't really care why they're voting against it. I mean, I care because it's part of what's wrong with our system, and we talk about it all the time. But I want to know who it is, right? So now, the other thing as to why they should take the vote on the public option is because you never know what happens when you take a vote. Sometimes when you take a vote, unexpected things happen because people get scared that they're going to go on the record, right? That's why they don't want the vote in the first place, because they don't want to get put on the record. Mm-hmm. So that means that gives us some sort of leverage. For example, in the jobs bill, Scott Brown unexpectedly flipped and voted with the Democrats. And so when he did, and it looked like the jobs bill was going to pass the filibuster, then 4 other Republicans signed up. And then once it got past the filibuster, all of a sudden, the bill was totally bipartisan. It passed 70-28. Why? They didn't want to be on the record as against the jobs bill in the middle of this disastrous economy, right? Even though they filibustered it. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but a lot of what they do doesn't make any sense.
Right. So my guess is if you put them on the record, all of a sudden they were against it, but they get a little scared of the voters, right? Because it's so popular, not just nationwide, but in their specific districts and their specific states. We've got so many polls on it, you don't know. We got dozens of polls on how popular it is in all of their home states. For example, the 2 guys we think are really holding things up, but have not been mentioned very much at all, are the 2 senators from Virginia, Jim Webb and Mark Warner. And they're sitting on it, right? And they're on the fence still. Hey, I mean, honestly, what are they worried about? Why can't they vote for this? Neither guy is going to be in the poorhouse if they don't get returned to Congress. Yeah, and the fact is, the public option is overwhelmingly popular in Virginia. There's specific polls in Virginia. And people are saying, look, overall, the bill, and they don't love it in Virginia. If you put the public option in, they're like, yeah, we're in, okay? And then there's a poll about reconciliation. Should we do it through reconciliation if you get a bill that you like? People are like, yes, yes. Now, it's funny because they did a misleading poll where they asked people, are you uncomfortable, nationwide poll, are you uncomfortable with passing this health care bill through reconciliation? And more people said yes.
Hold on. Are you in what percentage?
I think it was about 52-39.
Dude, I don't think you can find 52% of the American public that know what reconciliation is.
First of all, that is 128% accurate.
I mean, not even close.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows which bill got passed through reconciliation. Nobody knows what reconciliation means, okay? So that's point number 1. But point number 2, PCCC and Democracy for America are like, yeah, clever job, mainstream media, of doing that poll. Now let's do a real poll where you break it down and you say, now are you against passing this through reconciliation because you don't like the bill, or you don't like reconciliation? And what if you like the bill and it went through reconciliation? And what they found out is, of course, people are like, if I like the bill, I don't give a damn how you pass it. Yeah, pass it through reconciliation. I said no because I didn't like the bill. Hello! And it's so, the polls are overwhelming. So you got to put people like Webb and Warner on the spot. They're hiding right now. They're hiding in the shadows. They haven't said a word, right? And they are two among about 10 or 12 senators that are still not decided and could decide this thing. That's why you've got to take the vote.
How could you not be decided at this point? It's
they're
all these guys have been talking about for a year.
I know, they're politicians.
And the present bill, and let me just say, one of my neighbors is telling me who doesn't have health insurance. Lucky I have it. It's expensive as hell. And he's like, look, I can't afford health insurance. I worry about this bill. If this bill passes and I still can't afford it and my kid gets sick and I go to the doctor, then do I have to pay a fine in addition to the emergency room bills and everything else? I mean,
people don't like the mandate. And here's the only way they like the mandate or can live with the mandate is if you give them an option of at least being able to buy it from the government so they're not getting hosed, they're not getting ripped, right?
raped.
That's another way of
You
putting
know
it.
how much it costs for a family of 3? $1,561 a month. A month, dude.
And that's before they raise your rates by 39%
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
Now, it's insanity, man. I mean, this is why we're supposed to be doing reform in the first place. So, to sum it up, take the frickin' vote, man. Take the damn vote, and let's see who's on which side. It is absolutely unacceptable not to take the vote. So, that's why we've got to put pressure on Harry Reid to give us an up or down vote on this, put it in reconciliation.